So today I'm going to be sharing a verse in the book of Proverbs, chapter 10, starting at verse 23. A fool finds pleasure in evil conduct, but a man of understanding delights in wisdom. And the reason why this verse stood out to me is because I have had this said to me many a times. You deny yourself. You deprive yourself. You should really get out there and experience life. You have needs and desires, and what they're saying sounds good to them, but there's a misconception. They think that because I believe in God and I choose to follow Him, that means that my life is boring. And that's not true at all. But it also reminded me of something out of Romans chapter 6. I'm reading it out of the Message Bible, but I'm going to kind of jump. So I'm going to start at 15 and then I'm going to jump down to 20. So since we're out from under the old tyranny, does that mean we can live any old way we want? Since we're free in the freedom of God, can we do anything that comes to mind? Hardly. You know well enough from your own experience that there are some acts of so-called freedom that destroys freedom. Offer yourself to sin, for instance, and it's your last free act. But offer yourselves to the ways of God, and the freedom never quits. Now I'm going to jump down to verse 20. As long as you did what you felt like doing, ignoring God, you didn't have to bother with right thinking or right living, or right anything for that matter. But do you call that a free life? What did you get out of it? Nothing you're proud of now. Where did it get you? A dead end. I can totally 100% agree with that. Now, I'm going to tell a story, or I guess really like an analogy. I remember having mac and cheese, but the mac and cheese that I first got put onto was Great Value. And to me, Great Value was everything until I met Kraft. And then I was like, okay, I'm too bougie for Great Value. I only eat Kraft, thank you, until I met Velveeta. And then whenever I had Velveeta, you couldn't tell me nothing until I had baked mac and cheese. Baked mac and cheese changed the game for me. Now that I have tasted of the finest, not out of disrespect, and I will do it, like if I went to somebody's house or whatever, but you not going to catch me with a box of Great Value any day of the week. Like, you can keep that box stuff. Like, I'm good on that. I would rather buy the noodles, the butter, the cream, the eggs, all the different varieties of cheese. I would rather have it from scratch. I will never go back to that because I've tasted of something better. So the world system, what sounds like fun to them, with all of sincerity, that's all they've ever experienced. But in this life, in this walk with Him, it has become sweeter and sweeter and sweeter, that when I look at the world and what they have to offer, it's like, no, I'm good. I'm good on all of that. Because I know that if you sow their seeds, you'll reap their fruit. And all of it is death. So I'd rather stick close to Dad and continue to grow in life, because I tell you, it is absolutely sweet. There has never been anything that He has ever asked of me that I didn't look back and say, I regret doing that. No. There has never been a moment that has ever happened to me. But I always look back and say, Dad, you did that. Oh, I'm so glad you kept me from that one. Whew, that was a close one, because there are so many times where He has stepped in and guided me and directed me. And every single time when I look back, I always find that there is life there. There is peace there. There are, I don't know, just life is just beautiful in God. It's literally gotten to the point. I remember one time something was happening in my life, and it was a lot for me. And as much as I wanted to run and be like, I just want to run. But in my heart, what came out of me was the same thing that the disciples did or said when Jesus was giving a teaching that was too much for the people, and half of them left. And He looks over at His disciples and He's like, are y'all going to leave too? I think it was Peter that said, whom are we to go to? You're the only one that has words, that give eternal life. And that's how I felt in that moment. It's like, even though I don't know what to do, I would rather sit here before you, trusting and waiting, because you are the only one that gives me life. I don't want to do it my way, because I've done it my way for most of my life. And I can look back and I could see all of the destruction that I caused, all of the hurt, the pain, the tearing down with my own hands. And I don't want to ever go through that again. So you can keep that. But I just thought that that was so interesting and funny. You know, even the world has a saying. I don't know exactly how it goes, but it's like, you know, one moment your face is in the sun and then the next day it's in the sand. And, you know, I hear stuff like that and I'm just like, no, that's not how it is in the kingdom. I couldn't imagine, you know, having to go through life with that expectation that one moment it could be up and the next moment it's down. No, it's mountaintop, valley low. No matter where I am, it's always beautiful because I'm with him. You know, he comforts me in the low parts of my life and he holds me grounded. He reminds me that I'm standing on solid ground. When everything else seems to feel like it's shaking around me, he keeps me steady. You know, when I'm on the mountaintop and I'm rejoicing because he's just constantly just laying things on thick and I'm just like, Lord, you are too good. He's there rejoicing with me. Every moment of my life is absolutely beautiful in him. I love this life in God. And I think that the blindness of people, that they really think that what it is that they're doing is pleasure. But honestly, have you ever given yourself or compromised in a moment, holding an idea in your mind, thinking that if I can just get them to just do this one thing for me, I would be okay with everything else? And you keep holding on to that one idea, but it never comes to pass. And you just continue to compromise and you're going through the things of like, there is nothing that this world can give that really offers you the pleasure that you're looking for. So when I hear people coming to me about what the world is offering, I'm just like, nah, you can keep that great value. Okay, I'm gonna stick with my Big Mac and cheese. Ain't that right, Jesus? But that's all that I want to say. I know that you have been blessed in your hearing. Family, today is the day of salvation. It is the year of his favor. Bride of Christ, arise.